Welcome to Rock DIY, or Do It You. If you do it, then it's all you. I had done a previous video in which my intent was to show how to remove the mold and debris from the groove in the third brake light. Upon removing it to actually start showing how to clean it, I discovered that the condensation in the third brake light was caused by the lens being separated from the back side of the plastic molding. The old third brake light was easy to clean because the lens was separated from it, but after cleaning it up, I repaired the third brake light using super glue, in which the super glue caused an additional issue, which was the clouding in the lens. I only did a temporary repair on the old third brake light until I received the new replacement light that I had ordered. In this video, I'll show how to actually remove the old third brake light, replace it with the replacement third brake light, but also show some additional steps you can take by sealing the gutter and also putting some gasket maker around the screw holes. These additional steps will help prevent condensation from getting inside the lens and also prevent mold, mildew, and debris from getting in the gutter around the outside portion of the clear lens. This is a follow-up to a previous video I did in which my third brake light on my 2010 Ford F150, one of the screw holes on the front plastic broke off and the clear plastic on the front separated from the backside, which caused a lot of condensation inside the light itself. And this is the new one that I just received. One of the things I noticed right away is it's got this very spongy seal, and it's well over a ½ inch thick, unlike the one that the original or OEM one that was on my truck. The one that's on my truck is the gasket is about 1/8 of an inch thick, and it's a solid rubber piece. My concern with this one is that it's very spongy, and hopefully when I put it on, it will seal properly and prevent water, mold, and condensation from getting inside the light. One of the things that I think I might do, because I had an issue with mold growing in this groove between the back piece and the clear piece, this piece in the groove was constantly getting algae or mold and a lot of dirt and debris getting inside of it. But I think I'm going to use some sealant to seal all the way around to ensure that nothing will get in it, and then hopefully it'll last longer and prevent it from separating like the previous one did. Besides the things that I already mentioned, one thing I've noticed with this third brake light is that it does seem pretty sturdy compared to some other replacement items that I've purchased in the past. On this third brake light for my truck, I was able to remove this seal that was around the edge of the back side of the brake light. It's just got double-sided tape on it, and it was pretty easy to remove. And then what I'm going to do now is use this clear gutter glue to seal this portion of the brake light, basically just to keep the elements out, and I think it'll help preserve the brake light longer. I've put the sealant around the back side of this third brake light, and now I'm just going to let it dry I found when messing with this sealant that it can get pretty messy when it's wet. So I'm just going to let it dry, and then I'll just come back later and use a razor blade to trim off any spots that are high. Also, when you put the sealant on, it's very important that you ensure that you get the sealant all the way across without any gaps, because I'm pretty sure if you have a hole anywhere, then you're going to start having issues on the inside edge of the brake lens. I put the sealant around the light lens, and I've noticed that as it's been drying, it's been shrinking quite a bit. So I may have to go back over it with sealant again just to ensure that it stays sealed all the way around. And I will more than likely have to let this sit for over 24 hours to make sure that it's completely dry. This is the original third brake light on my 2010 Ford F-150 Platinum that I had repaired, and you may be able to see a lot of discoloration in the lens created by using super glue. Could have used something else, but I used what I had. So it didn't fare so well. Ultimately, I'm glad I decided to purchase a new brake light, which I'm going to install now. Once you get the two front screws out of the third brake light, basically just pull it out. Once you get it out, just rotate the bolt counterclockwise. For this bulb right here, the wiring harness is locked in place here. And then for the others, just do the same thing. Rotate counterclockwise and pull out. And there you go. The light is removed. Once you have your replacement light, basically just reverse the process of putting the bulbs back in. Place the wiring harness back in the clip on the light. You may find that when you put the lights back in, that they might not go in as easily as the old ones went into the previous light housing. When you put the brake light back in, there are two guide pins. There's one on the bottom side here, and there's also a top one here. So make sure that they line up on the roof when you put it in. Also, not necessary, but I put some gasket maker in the screw holes because I know on my previous brake light, this is a point where water was getting into the cover. You don't have to, but when you're tightening down these screws, it's a good idea to push down on the lens on both sides of the screw and be very cautious. Well, by doing this, you're going to relieve some of the pressure that the screw is going to put on the lens. And if you get too aggressive, you could possibly break the plastic around the screw. So hold it down when you screw it down, and then hopefully you don't hear any cracks while you're tightening it down. And there you go. You got the new third brake light and the old third brake light. You really wouldn't be able to tell any difference between them. Although the biggest thing that I noticed as far as difference is that the new one, in this case, seemed to be heavier. The plastic on the backside seemed to be thicker and of a heavier weight. Hopefully I'll get just as many years out of the new brake light as I got with the old one. 10 years is a good amount of time, and hopefully that's what I get out of it. I am not always a fan of non-OEM parts, but in this case I paid $52 for this third brake light, and it seems to be a pretty good part. I could have purchased a OEM third brake light, but the cost would have been between $104 to $158. The non-OEM one that I did purchase was purchased from carparts.com. Thanks for watching the video. I truly appreciate it. I hope this video motivates you to take on future DIY projects. There's nothing more satisfying than completing a project on your own. Please like, comment, or subscribe. Thanks again.